idea that we had, frankly, when we looked at the business to purchase it in the beginning of 2019, was an observation that the way that people were interacting with restaurants was changing and expanding, right? So it's not just coming to the restaurant for a meal. Some people wanted to order delivery. Some people wanted to use their favorite restaurant as a way to eat at home. And so we bought this with the thought that we could be great at all of the different channels. We didn't have to choose one, with the view that we could build a tremendous in-restaurant business while at the same time building a tremendous delivery business while also improving the retail business that we have in grocery. And so it's really an omni-channel view that's been become even more important in the world of COVID. And it's something that we continue to drive going forward. So that's kind of our driving philosophy and big idea is to be best in class across channels and to be agnostic where the consumer chooses to interact with us, and therefore drive the business across the different points of interaction with the guest.
What do you consider the biggest aspects of your, I guess, channel agnostic strategy?
Well, it requires investment, right? It requires investment. And so we've needed to invest in each different channel. And a lot of folks will choose one to focus on, but we thought we could be great at all of them. So in the dine-in business, we need to invest in the guest experience, right? So we needed to, the food was always very good since we bought the business. That was, always rated very well. We did some things to, clean up the menu, simplify, et cetera. But as a starting point, the food quality was very high. What we felt was lacking was the guest experience within the restaurants, right? So you come in, what's the ambiance like? What's the music like? What levels is it in? What's the decor? These are all questions that, you kind of walked in, you wouldn't notice any of that when we bought the business because there wasn't a lot of effort put towards building that atmosphere. So that's been a very conscious investment. We're remodeling restaurants, remodeled about 60% of the fleet, over 100 restaurants, introduced new music that is transportive, takes you to a new place. And the decor and what we call theater at the table. So dishes that come out and have some element of theater to them, sizzling dumplings, smoking sushi, things of that nature. And that's been, an investment on the dine-in side of the business. In regards to off-premise, a lot of the investment needed to be, technology, right? So we needed to develop an app, develop an e-commerce website that was best in class. We needed to invest in digital marketing. And then physical infrastructure as well. We needed to create second entrances in the restaurant that allow our guests to come in through one entrance through the lobby if they're dining in, and create a separate entrance for the third-party delivery folks and the takeout people, so you don't have them kind of crossing over and creating a bit of chaos in the lobby as it used to be. So I'd say technology investment, infrastructure investment, and things like packaging and operations to improve the guest experience. And we did that at the same time as we were investing in the physical restaurants for dine-in. And then in terms of the retail business, which we partner with Conagra, we invested by having our chefs actually spend time with Conagra to get those recipes and the quality of that food to be best in class for that category, right? So our head chef is very involved with the folks at Conagra and the food scientists over there to make sure that the quality is for a frozen product as high as it can be, right? So the people choose first how they want to eat. Do they want to go to a restaurant? Do they want to order delivery? Do they want to buy something at the grocery store? And then they choose who to interact with. And so we want to be there regardless of how they choose to eat that night, whether it's they're going to dinner with their friends or they want to order delivery or they want to go to the grocery store. We want to be there and have a product that's incredibly compelling in any of those channels. So that's been our focus. And it's worked to great success, thus far in our ownership period.
And how does the to-go piece of the business fit in there? The PF Chang to-go actual units.
Sure. So if you think about the channels as dine-in, off-premise, and the retail channel as the three that we have, and then of course we have the international business, but that plays across those three channels. Then to-go is an extension of that second channel. It's off-premise dining. Right. So we do off-premise dining out of our restaurants. We have 200 restaurants across the country. They all do delivery. Right. Now to-go lets us open more units in more places to take that off-premise business further and penetrate further in the country, reach more people. Right. So that was our idea of how do we open more? You can't open a 7,000 square foot bistro everywhere. Some places just doesn't work. We got a unit in Midtown Manhattan. It was never going to be a 7,000 square foot bistro, but we put it to go there. It's about 1,300 square feet, 1,400 square feet, and you can run that second part of the business, that delivery part of the business, out of that unit, right? So it's an extension of the off-premise business, which we also do in restaurants, but it lets us take that and reach more guests with that channel across the country.
How do you took the helm a little bit before the pandemic started in March of 2020?
After it started, so I knew exactly what I was walking into. I wasn't tricked.
What do
I
you
took
think
over
that,
in April, or I was asked to take over in April. Officially, I took over June 1st.
so let's see, the pandemic was declared in March, you took over in June.
Yes. I started the transition in April. I took over officially June 1st.
And the transition had started, especially to the multi-channel approach, as you were coming in, and it certainly fit into the pandemic. What do you think the strengths of the brand are going forward?
So just to clarify, I was involved with the business beginning of 2019. So we closed the deal so I was at Paulson & Company, which owns PF Chang's, and I led the deal to acquire it. And I became a director and chief strategy officer in the first quarter of 2019. So I was involved in the brand in the transition. I took over as CEO starting in June 2020. I was part of the initial plan to, the initial development of the thesis and the plan to operate the business, and I became responsible for executing it versus supporting in April of 2020. So what I'd say in regards to the pandemic is that we were already well on our way to developing this kind of omni-channel approach, because that was our thesis when we bought the business. And so we spent 2019 building the things that I talked about. We started the remodels, we started we developed the website ordering engine, we developed the app in 2019 and launched that in the third quarter. The packaging was well underway. So a lot of things were already happening, which was very fortunate for us. Obviously, we didn't see COVID coming. We're not psychic. I wish we were, but no crystal ball. But we thought that it was an important part of the business and one that was going to continue to grow going forward. So we made that investment, and then COVID happened. But we were already well on our way towards building this omni-channel experience that included a great off-premise business. So we're able to transition people, which really became more of a marketing effort and a communication effort, and some cleanup on the operations, curbside, et cetera. So we did all of that, and so we really fared a lot better than most, because we were thinking off-premises as a key part of the business before COVID. Before COVID hit, it didn't catch us off guard that we needed an off-premise business. Right, we were already working on that. So I think that was the major advantage we had. We shifted people very seamlessly in that kind of April, May time period. Our off-premise business, which was already growing, north of 20%, it tripled for a period of time when dine-in closed, which helped us manage through. And that was a huge win, and something that let us manage through the pandemic.
What do you see in the year or two ahead?
Yeah, we are an incredibly resilient and focused group. I would say that our strategy hasn't changed. I don't anticipate it changing. We're moving the ball forward on all fronts. We want to deliver a best-in-class experiential dining to our guests. We want to be the place where people go to for celebrations, the number one celebrations destination in our restaurants. And both of those apply to our dine-in business, which we still prioritize and spend a lot of time improving and investing in. We want to grow our off-premise, our digital off-premise sales. So that's improving the app, improving the guest experience on digital, improving the delivery times, packaging. So that off-premise business is still very key for us. And then we want to expand with new units, right? We want to open new units that are full service restaurants, bistros, we call them. We want to open new flagships that are very high volume locations in high density areas like Vegas, Honolulu. We've got one coming in Union Square. And we want to also expand our non-restaurant channel, so the retail channel, which I described a bit. But that's a focus, improving that, growing that. And then, that's how we're going to win, is being great across those 5 points. And to do that, we need to invest. We need to invest in technology. We need to invest in people. And so that's how we're approaching it. And it's yielded great results. And we're going to continue and stay the path and continue to drive forward on that strategy.
Before you got involved in the investment side, I understand you were in restaurant operations at one point?
I was a server in high school. That might be what they're talking about. But no, I was an investor. I've been an investor for a period of time. I was an investment banker at Goldman Sachs, and then I was a private equity investor at TPG, and then a hedge fund investor slash private equity at Paulson and Company. So I've been on the investing side for some time.
And what do you think I guess your time, I don't know how long you spent as a server, but what did you learn there that you could pull through in the rest of your career?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, you being a server is a great first job. You learn how to uh, how to deal with people. People are having a good day, people are having a bad day, people are happy and celebrating, people are in a bad mood. Your job is to make sure they have a great experience no matter who they are and what mindset they come into the restaurant with. So it breeds a sort of adaptability, a sort of empathetic nature, ability to kind of read people and understand, put yourself in their shoes sort of and help them improve their day. So the people side of it, I think, is an important skill that you learn. And at the same time, you learn to be efficient. You got a lot to do. You've got 6 tables. You got to get them a drink. You got to get them a dessert. You got to get their check. And so you learn to manage time, react quickly, deal with things that happen. You drop a glass, it happens, deal with it, clean it up and move on. So there's certain adaptability, a certain empathy, a certain people management that comes with that job. And I enjoyed it as a high schooler in Columbia, Maryland.
And kind of, I guess, last question for you. What do you think what is your passion in the industry at this point?
I want to take care of our people. And I think you do that by building a great business, right? So if we're successful, that creates an opportunity for people to grow. It creates opportunity to promote people. It creates an opportunity for them to develop their careers, but you don't get there if if your business is shrinking, right? It's hard to create opportunity in that scenario. So I want to build a great business that creates opportunity for our people, that invests in our people, in their own development, in the benefits that we can provide them and things of that nature. But you get there again by having a sound strategy, being focused on that strategy, driving it forward and delivering success. And then the rest of it follows.